Hi everyone, in this video I am going to explain the basic concepts of set theory. Set theory is important mainly because it serves as a foundation for the rest of mathematics. Almost every field of mathematics refers to set theory in some way. Set theory was introduced by George Cantu. This video will be very much useful for the beginners who start learning set theory. First, if you understand the concepts of set theory thoroughly, then you can solve any type of problem related to this topic. Now let's move on to this video. First, let us see the formal definition of set. A set is a well-defined collection of distinct objects. Here we have some collection of objects like pen, lion, doll, book and sun. Whether this collection forms a set? No, it is not a set. Why? Because the object present in this collection does not have any common property. That is, there is no common relation between them. So, now what do we understand from this? All collections are not set. So, the object present in this collection must have some common property. Objects in the sense here, this pen, lion, doll, book and sun are the objects of this collection. The other name of object is elements or members. Here we have collection of natural numbers. Natural numbers running from 1 to infinity. The elements present in this collection have common property. That is, all elements are natural numbers. So, the collection of natural numbers forms a set. Similarly, we can give more examples for the set. That is, collection of even integers, collection of odd integers, collection of natural numbers which are multiples of 3, collection of natural numbers which are divisible by 10, collection of rational numbers, collection of irrational numbers, collection of real numbers. All these collections forms a set since there exists a common property among the elements of the set. Here I have some other collection of vowels in the English alphabet and collection of students in a class who got the mathematics mark above 90. So these collections also forms a set. From the above examples, we clearly understand that there exists a common property among the elements of the set. See, here we have collection of bright students in the class. While collecting the bright students from a class, see, you may say one student name as bright student and I may suggest another student name as bright student. So, it differs from person to person. See, in the same way, if we take collection of best actors in the world, everyone have different opinion. So, the members present in this collection are not well defined. So, what is the meaning of this well defined? Well defined means that a particular object belongs to the set or not. Here, the words bright and best are not well defined. See, similarly, we can give more examples like collection of intelligent students in the class, collection of good students in the class, collection of beautiful students in the class, collection of talented students in the class. See, in all the above examples, the members present in the collection are not well defined. So, these collections do not form a set. So, thus in the definition of the set, the words well defined and distinct play a vital role. See here, this distinct means the elements present in the set must be different. That is, we should not repeat the elements. For example, now I am taking the set A consisting the elements 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. Here the elements 1 and 2 are repeated twice. But according to the definition of set, the elements in the set must be distinct. So we just avoid the repetition and we write the set A as, that is the set A consisting the elements 1, 2 and 3. Already we know what is meant by elements or object or members of a set, and which is denoted by the Greek letter epsilon. Here the symbol epsilon, which is read as, belongs to, and this symbol stands for does not belong to. And always we denote the set by capital letter. Here an example for the set is given, that is the set A consisting set of vowels in English alphabet. See, what are vowels in the English alphabet? A, E, I, O, U are the vowels. So A belongs to the set A, E belongs to A, I belongs to A, and O belongs to A, and U belongs to A. Suppose if I take the element B, which does not belong to the set A. How to represent the set? See, there are two methods for representing a set. One is a roster form or tabular form, and the another one set builder form, or the other name is property method. Roster form or tabular form. See, in this method, a set is described by listing the elements separated by commas in flower basis. See, I have given one example here. We see in set A, all the elements are separated by commas, which are enclosed within the flower basis. And I am giving another one example, that is the set B. So which is also written in the both the set A and B are written in roster form. So these are the examples of roster form of set. See, we can write the elements of the set in any order. The elements of the set A can also be written as 4, 3, 1, 2. Similarly, I can change the order of elements of the set B. Both are same. So, we can write the elements of the set in any order. Set builder form or property method. In this method, we can write the set by using the common property of all the elements. For example, here the set A consisting the elements 1, 2, 3 and 4, which is in the roster form. Let us see how to represent this set A in set builder form. To write the set A in set builder form, first we introduce the variable x within the braces, and this x stands for each element of the set, and next put colon, which is read as such that. See, next we have to write the common property possessed by each element of the set. See, now let us find what is the common property that exists among the members of the set A. See here, all elements are natural numbers and which are less than 5. So we write the set A as set of all x such that x is a natural number less than 5, which is the set builder form of the set A. And we have another example, that is set B consisting the elements 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, 13, 17, 19. So now we have to write this set B in set builder form. So for this, first we have to find what is the common property that exists among all the members of the set B. See here all are prime numbers starting with 2 and ending with 19. So the set B can be written as set of all x such that x is a prime number less than 20. So which is the set builder form of set B? Let us see some more examples for the conversion of roster form into set builder form. See here the set A is in roster form. To represent this set A in set builder form, first let us find what is the common property that exists among all the elements of the set. See here 1 squared equal to 1 and 2 squared equal to 4 and 3 squared is 9, 4 squared is 16 and 5 squared equal to 25 and so on. So thus every element in the set A is a square of a natural number. Thus the set A can be written in the set builder form as, that is, set A is equal to set of all x such that x is a square of a natural number. Also we write the set A as A is equal to, that is, set of all x such that x equal to n squared, where n belongs to capital N. This n stands for the set containing all natural numbers. And we have another example here, that is the set B is in roster form. To write this set in set builder form, first let us find what is the common property that exists among the members of the set. See here all are multiples of 3 and which starts from 6 and ends with 18. So the set B is written in set builder form as B is equal to set of all x such that x equal to 3n, and where this n belongs to the natural number and n varies from 2 to 6. Next let us see different types of sets. Empty set. A set having no element is called the empty set or void set or null set. The empty set is denoted by the symbol pi, or within braces there is no element. So let's see the example now. Here A equal to set of all x such that x belongs to n and 3 less than x less than 4 is an empty set. That is, since there is no natural number between this 3 and 4. So this set A is an empty set. And next B. B is the set of odd numbers divisible by 2 is an empty set. See, we know the numbers ending with 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 only divisible by 2. But the odd numbers ends with 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. So, the odd numbers which are not divisible by 2. Thus, the set B is an empty set. Singleton set. A set having only one element is called singleton set. Let's see some examples for the singleton set. Here, A is the set of all x such that x is an even prime number. See, which is the singleton set. Why? Since we have only one even prime number, which is 2. Thus, the set A consisting of only one element. So, which is the singleton set. Next, we consider the set B, which is the set of all x such that x is a whole number less than 1. Whole number means it is running from 0 to infinity. There is only one element 0 which is less than 1 in the whole number set. Thus, B is the singleton set. And next, set C, which is the set of present President of India. We have only one President for our India. So, which is the singleton set. Finite and infinite sets. A set which is empty or which contains a definite number of elements is called a finite set. Otherwise, it is called an infinite set. For example, here the set A consisting of 5 elements, which is finite. So, A is a finite set. n is the set of all natural numbers. It is running from 1 to infinity. So which is an infinite set. See, we have infinite number of points in a straight line. Thus, the set of all points of a line is an infinite set. Next, order or cardinal number or cardinality of a finite set. The number of elements in a finite set A is called the order or cardinal number of a set A, and it is denoted by n of A. See, for example, the set A consisting of 3 elements 1, 2 and 3. So, the number of elements in the set A is 3. See, the empty set has no element. Thus, the order of the empty set is 0. And next, the singleton set have only one element. Thus, the order of the singleton set is 1. Equivalent sets. Two finite sets A and B are said to be equivalent if they have the same cardinal number. Thus, sets A and B are equivalent if and only if the number of elements in the set A is equal to the number of elements in set B. See, this symbol stands for the equivalent symbol. If sets A and B are equivalent, we write A is equivalent to B. Here we have example. Here we have two sets A and B. See, the number of elements in the set A is 5 and the number of elements in set B also 5. So, n of A equal to n of B equal to 5. Therefore, sets A and B are equivalent. So, next let us see what is meant by equal sets. Two sets A and B are said to be equal if they contain same elements. That is, if A equal to B, then all the elements of A are in B and all the elements of B are in A. See, here we have example. Set A consisting the elements 4, 5, 6, 7. Set B consisting the elements 5, 6, 4, 7. So, A and B have exactly the same elements. Also, the order of A and B also same. That is, order means the number of elements in set A is 4. Similarly, the number of elements in the set B also 4. Also, they have exactly the same elements. Here we have 4, 5, 6, 7. Here we have 4, 5, 6, 7 but in different order. Thus, the set A is equal to set B. Here we have the set A consisting the two elements 1 and minus 1. And in the set B, we have set of x such that x squared minus 1 equal to 0. If we solve this quadratic equation, we get two roots for x, that is 1 and minus 1. So, the sets A and B are equal sets. See, all equal sets are equivalent sets, but the converse is not true. Next, let us see what is meant by subset. First, we consider the set n, which is the set of natural numbers, and it contains the elements from 1 to infinity. See, and next we consider another set z, which is the set of all integers, and which consists the elements from minus infinity to plus infinity. See, thus it is very much clear that z contains all the elements of n. Therefore, we can say n is a subset of z, and which is written as like this form, n is a subset of z. See, this symbol stands for is a subset of or is contained in. See, and next we consider another set q, which is the set of rational numbers. See, what is meant by rational number? See, the numbers is of the form p by q, where p and q are integers with q not equal to 0. See, here we can clearly say that n is a subset of z and z is a subset of q. Also, we can say n is a subset of q. And next we consider another set T, which is the set of irrational numbers. See, what is irrational numbers? The numbers which are not rational, that is the numbers which is not of the form P by Q with the Q not equal to 0, where P and Q are integers. Here the sets Q and T together form another set R, which is the set of real numbers. So now we can say Q is a subset of R and also T is a subset of R. And now this symbol stands for is not a subset of. Here you can see from this figure, N is not a subset of T and Z is not a subset of T. Also Q is not a subset of T. Next, let us see the formal definition of subset. A set A is called a subset of B if every element of A is also an element of B, which is written as here A is a subset of B. If A is not a subset of B, we write that as A is not a subset of B. So in this example, we have two sets A and B. A has the elements -1, 2, 5. We observe from set B that B contains all the elements of A. So thus we can say A is a subset of B. Okay, now let's see what is a power set. The set of all the subsets of a given set A is said to be the power set of A, and which is denoted by P of A. See here, A is given as the singleton set, that is which has only one element 1. Now let's see what is the power set of this A, that is P of A. Power set means collection of all the subsets of A. Here empty set is a subset of every set. So first let's write empty set here. And here singleton set. Thus the set itself is a subset here. Next, A is having the two elements 1, 2. Then the power set of A equal to, see first empty set, and the subsets having the single elements are 1, 2. And the set itself is a subset here. Next here A has 3 elements 1, 2 and 3. Then P of A equal to empty set, and the subset having, first let's write the subset having single elements, that is 1, 2, 3. Next let us write the subsets having the two elements, that is 1, 2, 1, 3 and 2, 3. And the set itself is a subset. So in all the above examples, we can note that the elements of the power set are the subset. And also we can see here A has only one element and its power set has 2 power 1, that is 2 elements. Here A has 2 elements and P of A has 2 power 2, that is 4 elements. Here A has 3 elements and its power set has 2 power 3, 8 elements. So thus we can say if A has n elements, then its power set P of A has 2 power n elements. Now let's see what is the proper subset. Let A and B be two sets. If A is the subset of B and A not equal to B, then A is called a proper subset of B. That is, A must contain at least one element less than B. Or we can say that there exists at least one element in B which is not in A. And this set B is called superset of A. Here we have two sets A and B. We can see here B contain all the elements of A. Also the order of A is less than the order of B. Thus we can say A is a proper subset of B and B is a superset of A. Let's see an example of proper subset. The set A has 3 elements, that is the order of A is 3. The subsets whose order less than 3 are called proper subsets of A. So first we write the subset of order 0, which is the empty set. and this empty set is a subset of any set which is the proper subset of A. Next, let us write the subsets of order 1. Here we have the subset A, B, C having one element. These are the proper subsets of A. And then we take the subsets of order 2. That is the subset AB, AC and BC are the subsets having two elements, which is the proper subset. So these are the proper subset of A. And next we consider the set A itself. The set A is a subset of itself, which is an improper subset of A. See, if the number of elements in the set A is m, then the number of elements in the power set, that is P of A, is 2 power m. See, already we know what is power set, which is the collection of all subsets of A, and the elements of the power set are its subset. And next, the number of proper subset of A is 2 power m minus 1. See, we know that this 2 power m is the collection of all subset. See, from that we are subtracting the improper set, that is, which is the set itself. That is 2m minus 1 is the number of proper subsets of A. See, in this example, the set A has 4 elements. Now let's see what is P of A. So P of A, we know the collection of all subsets. See, first I have written the subset, that is the empty set whose order is 0. Next, let us write the subset whose order is 1, which are the subset containing the element 1 and 2, 3 and 4. Next, let us write the subsets of order 2, that is 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4 and 2, 3, 2, 4 and 3, 4. Next, let us write the subsets of order 3, that is 1, 2, 3 and 1, 2, 4 and 1, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4. And the next subset is a set itself. So here the set A has 4 elements and the number of elements in P of A is 2 power m. So here 2 power 4, which is 16. And the number of proper subset of A is 2 power 4 minus 1, which is 15. Set of sets. A set S having all its elements as set is called a set of sets, or a family of sets, or a class of sets. See, previously we have seen the power set which has all the elements as set. So the power set is the example for set of sets. And here we have some other examples, that is pi is a singleton set of set which has the empty set as its element. So which is an example for the set of set. And which is a set of sets having 3 elements, that is the set consisting 1, 2 and next set consisting 2, 5 and the third element is the set consisting the elements 3, 6, 8, which are themselves set. And this set A is not a set of set because here C is not a set, which is an element of set A. Intervals as subset of R. See here, R is the set of real numbers. Also we have seen the set of natural numbers, set of integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers are the subset of R. See, here we see the intervals as subsets of R. See, for this we consider the real number line R, and in the leftmost side of the real number line we have minus infinity, and in the rightmost end we have plus infinity. Every number lie in this line are all real numbers. Let A and B be any two real numbers on the real number line R and A less than B. See here the points A and B are represented by small circles and which is not shaded here. See, which means we no need to include the points A and B, and we can take all the points between A and B, which is given as A less than X less than B. So, excluding the points A and B, the collection of all points between A and B forms the set A comma B, which is called as the open interval A comma B, and which is defined as the set of all x in R such that A less than X less than B. That is, the value of X is strictly less than B and the value of X is strictly greater than A. See, here we have 2 points A and B in the real number line and A less than B. The small circles representing A and B are shaded here. Thus, we have to include the points A and B. So, X takes the values between A and B and including the points A and B, which is given as A less than or equal to X less than or equal to B. Thus, the collection of all points between A and B, including the n points A and B, forms the set A comma B, which is called the closed interval A comma B, and is defined as the set of all real numbers between A and B, including the points A and B. Okay. Now, let's see what is semi-open interval, which is denoted by this symbol like this form. That is, the first bracket is open and the second one is closed, which means we are excluding the value A and including the value B, which is defined as the set of all x in R such that A less than X less than or equal to B. That is, X takes the values between the interval A to B and including B and excluding A. See, just before we saw what is open interval and closed interval. In the open interval, we have open bracket on both sides of the interval. So, we leave both A and B. And in the closed interval, we have closed bracket on both sides of the interval. So, we take both A and B. See, here you see the first bracket is open and the second one is closed. So, we exclude A and include B. Suppose if the first bracket is closed and the second one is open, which is called semi-closed interval, and here we include the value A and exclude the value B, and which is defined as the set of all x in R such that A less than or equal to X less than B, and here X takes the values between the interval A to B and excluding B and including the value A. Using the subset concept, we can prove the two sets are equal. See, to prove the two sets A and B are equal, first we have to show that A is a subset of B. See, to show A is a subset of B, we take X is an element from the set A. Then we have to prove X is also an element in B. So, now we proved every element of A is also an element of B. Therefore, A is a subset of B. See, but there is still a possibility that B could have some elements that are not in A. So, we cannot conclude A equal to B. But if in addition we also show B is a subset of A, then B cannot contain anything that is not in A. So, A equal to B. For example, here the set A consisting the elements A and B and the set B having the elements B and A. So, it is very much clear that A contains all the elements of B and B contains all the elements of A. So, A is a subset of B and B is also a subset of A. Thus we have A equal to B. Universal set. In any discussion in set theory, we need a set such that all sets under consideration in the discussion are its subsets. For example, if we take sets such as set of all natural numbers, set of whole numbers and set of integers, we know that these sets are the subset of rational numbers. So, we can consider the set of rational numbers as the universal set for this discussion. The universal set is a set that contains all the elements of the sets under consideration, which is usually denoted by U. See here in the given example, we have three sets such as the set A has 1, 2, 3 as its elements, and the set B has 2, 4, 6, 8, and the set C is 2, 3, 5, 7. So now what is the universal set for set A, B and C? The universal set must contain all the elements of A, B, C. So we take the universal set for the set A, B and C as the universal set U containing the elements from 1 to 9. Venn diagram. Venn diagram or pictorial representation of sets. The relationship between the sets can be represented by Venn diagram, and which was introduced by the British mathematician John Venn. See, in Venn diagram, we represent the universal set by a rectangle and its subsets by circles. Here, the universal set U consisting the elements from 1 to 10, and A and B are the subsets of the universal set. Let's see how to represent these sets in Venn diagram. The universal set is given by the rectangle, and the subset A is given by the circle A, and the subset B is given by the circle B. See, the set B, which in turn is also a subset of A. See, now the elements of B, 7 and 9 are given in the circle B, and leaving the elements 7 and 9, the remaining elements of A are given in the circle A. And now leaving this 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 from the universal set, the remaining elements of U are given in this rectangle. So this is the way to represent the universal set and its subsets in the Venn diagram. We see the extensive use of Venn diagram in the operation of sets.